good in the opening stages. They didn't have the best start in the last encounter, but surely this time around they mean business as Uganda takes us underway in this 5th and 6th place seating between South Africa and Uganda. The She Cranes have certainly found a rhythm up in front very early on this time, as if we can compare it to the last time, Ruth.
Yeah, I think the other time, since as you all know that this team is young, they're new, a lot of experienced players that were there during the Commonwealth win are not with them. So it's a team that is building up, and I'm just impressed by the way they're starting right now, because now they had the feel of the game in the second preliminary stages, and now they believe that they can win this match. That is why you're seeing them coming out in the first quarter very strong.
Well, we only see one change from South Africa. Bongi Msomi going to wing attack and Izet Griesel going to centre. I think Norma Plummer opting for a bit more height in that centre. I mean, Izet Griesel is having a really good game. She's doing the majority of the feeding as well and putting a lot of pressure on defence. She's got a really good reach, and she's applying that centre court and mid-court shutdown on the defence that South Africa needs, because if you open up the middle against Uganda, I mean, Mary Sholak will just have those feeds going into the circle. Talk to me a little bit more about that. I'm joined with Coach Fred. Coach, you spoke about marking your players, or marking the players on defence a little bit more, so you are opting for more defensive pressure. How does your team absorb, the attack and the onslaught from the South Africans in that first quarter?
Yeah, we decided to go hard, and as I promised yesterday that we are going to be hard. But I think there are certain calls that are being made which I think are not proper, which are letting South Africa come back in the game. Because there is a lot of fighting, there is a lot of whatever, but anyway, we are going to play our own game, and whatever happens, let it happen.
Yep, that's something we can't control, but the things we can control is that what happens on court. And at the moment, Uganda, in that first quarter, both South Africa and Uganda really having a lot of unforced errors, and you mentioned that in your opening. What do you think is happening?
No, that's why we came all out, and there are no errors that we are making, except about the calls that are giving the balls away to the other people, which I think they are not fouls. But because I told the guys that we should not make errors as we did last time, and that's why you see we are tight on this game. And we want this game very much.
Yep, Uganda leading at the moment, Coach. Thank you for the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really love the fact that the players get their minds off the umpires and really concentrate and play their own game, because at the end of the day, you will not change the decision of the umpires, which the girls are really doing very well. The She Cranes, they are concentrating on that. At least every lost ball, they've marked and got it back. And they've been so successful.
Msomi with another unforced error. She's been caught with her elbow out there. And I mean, as a player, how do you bounce back from that? When you feel like, you are being done wrong, but you're doing everything correctly. How do you bounce back on a practical level?
Yeah, I believe it starts from training. You have to train the players to mentally be set on any situation that is to happen. Let them believe that they can gain that ball back as they mark. They let that moment go out of them. Just that pressure, make them get to know that there is that time of pressure, and they need to put themselves back and mark and gain that ball back.
Oh, Mampo, we're seeing foot errors. We're seeing balls being misplaced. We're seeing miscatches. It's very uncharacteristic of both these teams, and I think there's certain things that the umpire can call. I mean, there is contesting and there's contact and all of that, but I mean, stepping out of court, that's something that an umpire has to call. Making a stepping mistake, that's unforced errors from the players, and it's happening on both sides. So I think the umpiring has been really good and consistent throughout, favouring both teams.
So the last time these two saw each other, South Africa had a 2-goal lead at the end of the game. I won't call it a win, because they'll have to prove it today on the big stage when it's most important to see who are the African champions, since Uganda did not come to the African qualifiers, so they weren't able to really plan around each other then, but they'll get it twice at this Netball World Cup, and today is really a big decider of who are the queens really on the African continent in terms of netball.
Oh, Mampo, that first occasion you're alluding to, I mean, Uganda at halftime was only on 19 and South Africa 33. So the halftime score favouring South Africa quite significantly. On this occasion, Uganda is just holding their own with a very, very good start, where South Africa had the good start in the previous occasion.
As we see the future of the Spar Proteas, Van der Berg with the combination of Talia really starting to solidify themselves against the top of defense in terms of the world. They've really come out strong in the previous games as well. So Coach Norma Plummer has really liked the way that this combination's been looking. She opts to start with it today.
I believe both of these teams need that composure to be in this game, because we are seeing a lot of slippery balls out of their hands. We're seeing loose hands. We're seeing bad passes. We're seeing a lot of intercepts. The game is a bit intense, but they need a lot more composure so that the game can flow for both sides.
Well, the block party is going to start as Phumza Maweni comes away with an offensive rebound opportunity there for South Africa to potentially extend the lead. The patience from Gisel.
You have some really good transition from defense to attack and through court attack from South Africa, just utilizing that middle channel really, really well. And it's so hard to defend that middle channel. Oh, Phumza Maweni contesting with being caught outside with the contact.
Yeah, but she's had too many of those outside of that circle. She must be reading that by now, that it's not working. It's done on purpose to pull her and get her out of that circle, create that contact so they can have Mary all on her own in the circle. So that's something I think South Africa should be a little bit worried about.
I agree with you, Mampo.
Yeah, and it also helps create space inside the circle. The more the goal attack pulls out, there's more space inside the circle for a shooter to hold, and those offloads, the lobby passes are easier to reach her. The one-on-one defense does not really matter a lot when it is only a goal shooter and a goalkeeper inside, as long as the pass is pressed in the right place.
As Van der Berg finds herself a rebound. That was her first miss at goal. So she's 11 out of 12 right now, sitting at 92% shooting accuracy. Talia has only made 6 attempts and she's missed 2 of them. So she sits, I beg your pardon, on 67%. So 1 goal in it. What can the She Cranes do with this opportunity to equalize again? Mary coming out of that circle quite strong this time. Oh, I think she went right through the hands of Gisel. They haven't called time yet, so they can't do much. But if she does call time, she'll have to come off. That's quite interesting. No delay, no time called.
Well, from sideline, it just looked like she tripped over the foot of Izet Gisel, or not even. Maybe got a bit of a finger to the eye, but it wasn't intentional. And if she didn't call time, the umpire is not going to call time. And play will resume as usual with South Africa just edging away and coming back into this game. Even though the score doesn't reflect it, there is a momentum shift favouring South Africa. We see a lot of Ugandans just playing that short, sharp style of attack that we've come to know from an African type of play. And they're just sticking to their own game plan, as Coach Fred had said.
1 goal lead for Uganda, 18-17. Just less than 6 minutes to go in the second quarter. And what a treat in the opening stages as Uganda come out quite strong in the first half of this matchup. They struggled a lot the last time these two came up against each other. Only really being dominant in the third quarter and finishing things quite strong in that fourth as well. Oh, the height, the 2 meters. Really helping Mary get quite high up over Maweni, who in the last interview actually said, you know, she's had to play against a lot of tall shooters. How difficult is that for anybody?
Mampo, the contesting. I mean, both of these players in Maweni and in Sholok, I say that they're longer than the queue at Home Affairs on a Saturday, because the competition in the air and the contesting in the air with that reach of their arms, I mean, they can both jump over the pole if they want to.
And also not forgetting the experience that Maweni has. She's ever turned professional. She knows how to get around all those tall shooters right now. I think she's a bit getting the equation for Mary, but I believe that the Ugandan attack should give her more work to do by pressing those balls high, not at her average, but a bit more high, because Mary is a shooter who moves, who can jump, who can hold, and she knows how to rotate around in that shooting circle.
Well, the game plan is pretty simple. Get to the edge of the circle, get the ball to Mary, who gets it comfortably in the spot where she's most accurate, right in that first zone, sitting at 91%. She's got 10 out of 11 shots. I mean, talk about clinical. And talk about understanding the assignment. Uganda doing a phenomenal job to utilize their assets at the moment. But it's also the defensive pressure from Mohammed, who's slotted onto that goalkeeper position quite seamlessly as South Africa increase their margin as well. So it's a 20-19 goal lead for Uganda. Such patience, such confidence. They believe they can. If they win this game, of course, if you look at the last 10, quite evenly matched out. Just South Africa shooting the last 2 goals. So both teams are equal for the quarter. 8-8 after that 1-goal lead for Uganda in the first quarter.
Yep, so Carla just asking if whether she was blown for contact or obstruction, and it's saying there's an obstruction, meaning that she needs to stand out of play. Once again on the circle edge. And it's a beautiful roll by Sholok on that occasion. And that's what you said, Ruth. I mean, she's not just tall, she can move, she can roll. She's really one of my favorite goal shooters to watch. Very creative.
It's hard to defend such a kind of shooter because you don't know what she's going to do next. You might expect that she's holding and then she rolls off your body. She moves out of the circle. She comes back and finds her position again. So most of the times it's hard to find yourself defending such a kind of player.
And South Africa now trail by 1 point. They use the same text out of the same textbook as a stray dom to the rescue. Oh, she's making it up now for her earlier mishaps that happened with the unforced errors. But unfortunately, once again, South Africa not able to execute on that turnover. And what a great gain that they got for themselves, but they're just not being disciplined enough, the side of South Africa, to execute on those plays.
Yeah, a lot of menses have been done in this game, but both sides are not utilizing those menses around. I wish they could utilize every turnover, every mistake done by a team. This game would be a wave for both sides.
Oh, Jante Strydom, just a workhorse. She doesn't know when to stop.
Not getting behind, that's a cautious. You're out of play. Wait for her to get out of play. Goal defense. Goal defense, you're out of play.
So goal defense being called out of play for persistent offside, not getting behind the line in time for the centre pass. So it is quite instrumental that players adhere to the rules. Oh, Nicole Tyler being folded in half and managed to get that pass away. With absolute class and control from Taliad.
And I mean, talk about the soft hands, little deflection on that pass from Taliad. Oh, this relationship is coming into its own between Van der Berg and Taliad as Pretorius picks up another loose ball. So what can the South Africans do in the closing stages of the second quarter? Can they get the discipline to execute on the gains that they've been getting? Oh, once again, unable to execute.
I think the pressure is getting too high for both teams. As you look like there's no availability, opening up, being available for that second feed. I think it is costing both sides. To me, that is how I'm seeing the whole game.
Oh, misplacement, miscatch. They'll certainly be very disappointed with the number of unforced errors that the South Africans have been doing in this tournament in general. Beautiful finish from Van der Berg, who's become the new queen of the circle herself. And Fenta, oh, she comes back again. Oh. But what can they do with their turnovers? They keep losing these turnovers.
Whole time. Table, has the goal attack already been cautioned for obstruction? Yeah. Goal attack, that's the second instance of intentional obstruction.
Oh, the goal attack being called for second caution, now turned into a warning. Nasanga will need to clean up because there's a lot of game still, a whole half still to play. With the warning, not looking good for Nasanga, but it is Van der Berg with that closing finish on the end of the second half. End of the second quarter for South Africa with